My name is Jackie Siegel. I live in Orlando, Florida, and I'm married to David Siegel, the billionaire timeshare mogul who owns Westgate Resorts, which now has 28 locations all across the United States. In 2004, my husband and I began building the largest home in America, a 90,000 square foot palace, nicknamed Versailles, and I have come to be known as the Queen of Versailles, a title I can't help but love. During the recession that began in 2008, we were forced to make concessions just like the rest of America. We decided to stop construction on Versailles. But now the recession is over, and we got Versailles back on track. And in 2015, business was booming, so my husband went shopping. He bought the Cocoa Beach Pier, the Las Vegas Hilton, which he turned into a Westgate Resort, and he even bought a football team, the Orlando Predators. We were a big, happy family that had everything life on earth could offer. And 2015 should have been the best year of our lives, but it took just one phone call for it to become the worst.
The family at the center of the unforgettable documentary The Queen of Versailles has suffered a tragic loss. They've lost their daughter, 18-year-old Victoria. Jackie acknowledged Victoria's death on Facebook, writing, "Thank you all for your prayers and for your support. As more information comes out, the family will share it. Until that time, there is no comment." The Orlando Sentinel reports Victoria was found unresponsive in the family's Florida home Saturday afternoon and was later pronounced dead at a local hospital.
All right, so I'm headed over to Victoria's grave, and God, I just can't believe that she's not here. It's been 5 months, and it's still just so painful. Almost like a dark cloud has come over our family, you know, like you try to be happy, but it's just something, you know, that loss just pulls you down. So this is Victoria's grave. Actually, her birthday was yesterday. She would have been 19. We buried her 5 months ago. Victoria's funeral was one of the hardest days of my life. Actually, it was the hardest day of my life. Not one of them, but the hardest day.
It's just no parent should have to go through this. Walking down the aisle a few minutes ago, trying to greet most of you, even though I know a lot of you I didn't get a chance to talk to, or I know you're all here to support us, but walking down that aisle, I should have been walking her, don't you? That's what her parents are supposed to do. It should have been me laying there, not her.
It's like it wasn't real, but it was. I just remember seeing people in the church, and I don't remember their faces, but I know they were there. Yeah, it's just like a big blur. It's so hard to describe the pain. It's almost like your insides are just like ripped out. Like I almost don't care about my own life anymore. It's just like a part of me died.
Jackie Siegel created quite a stir when she was seen taking cell phone photos of the casket. Social media reaction was harsh, insensitive, thoughtless, narcissistic, and those were some of the tamer comments.
The paparazzis were following us. I mean, they were hiding in the bushes, they were everywhere, and they were saying like really negative things about me and what a bad mother I am. And I took pictures of Victoria's casket. These are the last moments of my memories of my daughter here on this earth. And they're criticizing me for that. Baby. I wanted one more picture of her face. I always take a ton of pictures. I mean, that's just my thing, my memories. Like, for example, here's me and the twins. We walk down the hall. There's my husband. There's my son's wedding. Here's a family picture. I keep a bunch of pictures in this closet. And then I also have pictures upstairs. I have a whole attic full of pictures. I keep all my pictures just because of the memories, and I cherish my memories, and thank God I have pictures of Victoria. Because, I don't know, maybe someday I'll get dementia and I won't have the vivid memories ever unless I can look at the pictures. This has her baby clothes in it. Oh, I used to love this when Victoria was a little baby. It's like a little onesie thing, and her feet would stay warm because it's stuck inside. This was my favorite outfit, and it had like little dinosaur stuff on it. She outgrew it fast, and babies grow so fast. That's a beautiful shot, me and Victoria. And that's her when she was starting to be a preteen. People think I take too many pictures. Yeah, I'm just so afraid of losing my tangible memories, you know?
Jackie likes to be strong, and not just for herself, but her family. And even though she doesn't want to make it seem that she's constantly, fighting with it in her head or constantly thinking about it, there are some times, and when she's by herself, especially at night, she struggles with it. I mean, she's only human.
I might have like this front on, but it's like an act, you know? And I probably should, I thought about going to like someone like a therapist or something, but I don't want to pull out those emotions and relive that pain. I've actually, I guess the way that I do cope is I suppress my emotions, my feelings, and I've become numb.
Any mother that went through what she went through finds a different way to cope, and hopefully one day she finds that that peace and that 100% solace. But right now she's still dealing with it, and I don't think she's ever gonna fully get over the death of her daughter.
Sometimes it's hard for me to cry because I've numbed my emotions so much. I don't know. I think my husband's probably done kind of the same thing. He's just kind of suppressed his emotions too. But I really don't know how to cope. I mean...
So Victoria had 2 rooms in the house. She had one upstairs inside the house, and then she had the guest house, and she lived in both rooms. But since she passed away, Jackie hasn't had anyone touch anything in either rooms. You can still see everything as if she was just there last night. And everyone respects that. The cleaners, know not to go in there. And definitely when she's, those nights where, it hurts her that, Victoria is gone, she goes in there to think of her.
So this guest bedroom over here was Victoria's hangout. She had 2 bedrooms. I left everything exactly how she left it the day that she died. We actually haven't been here in a while. It's hard to come into Victoria's spaces. We do her makeup here. It's getting kind of dusty. I still left her clothes, like her dirty clothes are here. just like hoping I can smell her. You know, we were pretty much oblivious that Victoria was involved with drugs as much as she was. She was a very smart teen, and she was like a great actress. Like most of these teens that are addicted to drugs, they can really trick their parents, you know?
She did have a drug problem. She did do drugs for fun. She did do drugs to escape. She did drugs a lot.
I'm Jackie Siegel. I'm starving for some evil. In other words, I'm craving for some drugs that are illegal. Substances in my system. When they leave, I'm gonna miss them. But I got enough to lead the whole universe. Tripping too much alcohol in my blood. Too much blood is in my veins. They tripping head over heels. I'll be tripping over real. 24/7, bitch. That's how it feels. But just saying that they know me, but they don't know the least. If they listen to these words, they find the message that's for me. May not be a chef, but I can be a baker. I don't know origami, but let me roll you a paper.
Victoria's main addiction was Xanax, and she would get like Xanny bars, just like even at the school they would sell them.
She found a safe place in drugs. She found comfort in drugs, and she didn't know, it's not that she didn't know how to say no, she just didn't know when enough was enough.
I didn't realize she had a problem, but she realized that she did. I guess she had come close to doing some overdoses, and she came to me and she says, "Mom, I need to go to rehab." So we packed her bags and immediately we went to the closest rehab center here, me, her, and Grandma.
She had told me when she went to rehab, and I remember her texting me and she goes, "I haven't even had a glass of wine. I haven't done anything. I haven't smoked. I haven't touched Xanax."
So during the rehab time, she met this guy who was there mandatory by law as part of his program because he broke the law with drugs somehow. And he didn't want to be there, so he didn't care about really getting off of drugs. He was there by force. Well, anyways, she fell in this teenage love with him.
She's like, "This is my new boyfriend. I met him in rehab. We're both getting clean together. It's nice to have someone who can do it with me."
She was 18, he was 26. And when they got out, I think he really exposed her more to the heroin.
She said something to me. She slipped up about heroin usage. She said something about how her boyfriend at the time was trying it. And I said, "Trying it or using it?" And she just kind of looked at me like, "Oh, well, I've only tried it once, but he does it regular. She didn't say he does it regularly, but she said he was going to, I think it's called like a clinic or some kind of clinic where drug users go to try to wean off the drugs."
He had given her the methadone in trade for her buying him heroin. So that's how she got her hands on the methadone. And ultimately, the night that she did the overdose, it was on methadone and Zoloft. The night that she died, she had it was her anniversary with her boyfriend. She had gone to Yellow Dog Eats, got an iced tea or something. I just left everything the best that I could. These are her shoes, so she probably came here, took her shoes off. She was planning on wearing a cute little lingerie for her anniversary with her boyfriend. This bag is, just sitting here. The day that Victoria died, we were actually at a family wedding in Park City. Victoria was supposed to be there, but she was having her 1-month anniversary with her boyfriend who was a heroin addict. And she said she wasn't going to go to the wedding. She was going to stay here and go to this, have her dinner or whatever she was planning that night. So we let her stay behind. I guess his ex-girlfriend, who has a baby with him, showed up with the baby. And Victoria said, "You know what, I don't want to take time away from you seeing your baby. I know you haven't seen him in a long time. So go ahead see your baby and then I'll come back later. She waited and waited, and I guess he never called. Around that time is when she got a cyberbully text, a horrible text from this girl. She was still with him.
I'm here spending the weekend at his house. Feel free to come by and confront him about f***ing me tonight and begging me for weeks to come to town so I can suck his dick like he is obsessed with. He's using you for money, and he uses the money to shoot up and tell me what a crazy bitch you are. And you cut your wrist, and he saved you from killing yourself so many times he even speaks to you so your family won't ruin his life with legal action. He only speaks to you so your family won't ruin his life with legal action. Surprise, he's a super convincing, conniving piece of shit. Oh, and he's unconscious on Xanax and heroin right now, and that's why I have his phone.
I think that she thought if she took all that Zoloft, it would take away the pain that she had inside of her. And I guess it took away so much pain that, you know, it's gone. It's like I don't even care about like going to Versailles or building the biggest house, because then I'll lose this. I won't have like that memory, like that. I don't know, it'd be kind of close. I know eventually we're going to have to clear her stuff out of the room, and it's going to be hard on me because it'll be like the final area and piece of life with her is going to be gone. I guess I'm still trying to hold on, and by taking all that stuff away, I just feel like I'll just lose even more memories and stuff of her. We are here celebrating what would have been my daughter Victoria's 19th birthday party at Westgate Lakes here in Orlando. It was just acknowledging her existence and her spirit, and to keep your spirit alive.
I think she'd be happy that everyone's together. Not necessarily that if she was here we'd be spending it like this, especially her 19th birthday. Probably be at my apartment hanging out with a bunch of friends. But I'm glad that it turned out to being so many family members coming together.
It's so hard to believe that like she's gone, you know?
It still doesn't feel real. I think I've cried enough to the point where it's like you either accept it or you don't.
We're doing the Chinese balloons. Oh, there goes one, look.
Right now we're lighting lanterns for Ricky, and they're basically wish lanterns, and you make a wish and you let them go. But we're just doing it for our birthday.
Maybe it's a little bit of letting go, a little bit of letting go to find peace with everything. You know, we just love her so much.
We loved her, and it's great to know that other people loved her as much as we did, her friends.
So Dad, you know how on the Jewish holiday you like tell us the history of like
Passover?
Yeah, Passover.
Feels like that, doesn't it?
Are you gonna tell us the history today about why we celebrate Thanksgiving?
I'll tell you one thing. 52 years ago, I was sitting in a rented house with no electricity, no water, on Thanksgiving Day, and my ex-wife was heating a baby bottle on a sterno. We had no electricity, and the phone rang, and my friend Fred Wasserman called me up and said, "Why don't you come for Thanksgiving dinner?" And that was the best Thanksgiving dinner I ever had.
Until we were born, right?
And
Right.
it was a wake-up call, and I decided after that, quit feeling sorry for myself and do something productive, and I did. And here we are 52 years later, sitting here having Thanksgiving in a nice house, and I wish Victoria was here with us, but her death is going to mean that a lot of people are going to live. So not everybody can be responsible for causing that to happen. So enjoy your dinner. There's a lot of people out there that are a lot worse off than we are. Appreciate what you have. Up until Victoria died, I was profit driven. I built a large company. Even except for the recession, we were expanding, and that was my focus in life. See how much money I could make. And her death was a awakening.
My husband basically decided not to work anymore. He decided to devote the rest of his life to educating himself and giving lectures about the drug abuse.
I tell people that I have 2 piles of papers on my desk, and when I come to work, I have on the left I have a pile of work-related papers, which means money, and I have a pile of drug-related papers, which means lives. And I don't even work on the work-related pile. I work on the pile that saves lives. And my goal in the rest of my life is to put an end to this epidemic, save as many lives as I can.
Okay, here we're on the way to McDonald's. I need a good old-fashioned American snack. This is actually like the best McDonald's in the country. People come on dates here. They even have a pool table in this McDonald's. We're in the high-class McDonald's.
I may take your order?
Yeah, do you still have the dollar menu?
Yes.
Oh, good. I like a cheeseburger with extra onions and pickles.
Ma'am, we actually aren't serving lunch until 11.
Oh, they told me 10:30 and I drove special out here.
No, lunch starts at 11 on the weekends.
Oh my God, when did you change that rule?
Oh, it's been like that.
Now I'm bummed. Oh man, You know, I drove special. I even skipped Panera Bread just to come here to give you the business.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I did. Do you have chicken nuggets?
No, we don't have anything from lunch.
And
well, you can order, but it's going to take a while.
I can't. I have a beauty pageant to go to.
Well, lunch starts at 11, ma'am. I don't know what else to say.
All right, I'll take a hash brown, but I'm not happy about it. When did they change that rule?
When?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Because every time, my whole life, I've always come at 10:30. You don't understand. I had such a bad craving and I'm under so much stress. I just wanted the cheeseburger so bad.
You have another card? This one's not approved.
It's not approved. That's weird. All right, let me try this one. I just got like a new credit card, so. Oh, I have 3 of them.
Thank you.
That one works?
Yeah.
No wonder it didn't work. Look, this is my Victoria Siegel's credit card. I just keep it as a memory. But no wonder, I guess Victoria's declined. But mine works. The Versailles room. How about that? The ballroom. It's named Versailles.
Pictures, you walk off to the side. Second runner-up, you take some pictures, you walk off to the side. Then, what happens?
I've been involved with the Mrs. Florida America pageant for close to 30 years. I won the pageant in 1993. And after that, I was asked to take over the pageant. So I've been producing it now. Now it's 2016.
I'm Kelly Hazer-Pickens. I'm the reigning Mrs. Florida. And we are talking with the delegates today about the how-tos and what to-dos and what not to-dos, and trying to get them ready and prepared to compete tonight.
When that crown hits your head, be ready to tell them. What is your message? What do you want to tell ladies? What is your platform? What do you want to do with your year? Be ready for that.
It's just a whole new life, to be honest with you, because you will be talking to people that you've never spoken with. You will be reaching audiences far and wide that most people never thought possible, because once you hit that stage, everybody wants to hear what you've got to say.
I think that's pretty much everything. Okay. I'm excited for all of you.
Thank you very much for your
insights
and tips.
This is going to be great.
You guys have to come back at 5:30, mostly ready. All right, so if you guys will line up in the back, we're going to run through, and Kelly, you'll lead them in the parade.
Okay. In the middle of the Mrs. Florida America pageant, while I was producing it, I got an emergency text message. It was from a distressed mother in Arizona. She was worried for her daughter's life. So I immediately called her back. How is your daughter?
Right now she's in the hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona. She's not good. She's a mess.
I told my husband about you, and he wants to give you a call, or I can give you his phone number.
I guess that would be fine. I can write down his number.
Okay.
Thank you for carrying enough to go.
Yeah, that is friends are coming.
She's been in and out of rehab for years. I sent her to Miami. I sent her to Los Angeles, and she just relapses every time.
Yeah,
and now she's got this beautiful little baby that's not going to have a mother.
I'm almost there.
Oh my God! Do they? Quiet, Virginia.
All right.
Do they think she's going to make it?
They said she's stable. She now has a heart condition due to the alcohol and pain medicine abuse. So that's another thing we have to tackle. They're trying to find another treatment center for her here, but they just don't work. I mean, I guess I'm looking for a miracle because nothing's worked. She's 5'6" and she weighs about 90 pounds. She's just killing herself.
You know what? I'm almost home. Why don't you wait? I'll have my husband call you when I get home.
Okay.
In about like 10 or 15 minutes.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm sorry. I'm going to pray for your daughter, and it's scary. Okay, but we'll call you back in like 15 minutes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello?
What happened to her?
Her daughter's in the hospital, and the hospital doesn't know if her daughter's going to survive.
Is there a picture of her daughter?
No, we don't have a picture of her daughter.
I realize that there's hundreds of thousands of families that are suffering either through loss of a loved one or dealing with a loved one fighting, or I shouldn't say fighting, addicted, to this epidemic.
Her name's Heidi.
Hello?
Is this Heidi?
It is.
Hi, Heidi. This is David Siegel.
Hi, Mr. Siegel. Thank you for calling.
How's your daughter?
She's still in the hospital. They're evaluating her and trying to figure out what the next step is at this point. I was telling your wife, and thank you for being so kind to call. She's had addiction problems with pain pills and anxiety pills for years. She was unresponsive until they found her, and they called 911, and they tried to give her CPR, and then they took her to the hospital and gave her the Narcan shot, and now she's just coming off withdrawal, but it's just, I don't know.
The first responders didn't have Narcan with them?
I was told that it was administered at emergency in the hospital.
Oh, God.
But the first responders did not do it.
So that could be the difference between life and death, how quick you give it to them. This is what Narcan nasal spray looks like. If somebody is laying on the ground, turning blue, one breath away from death, you take this, you put it in their nose, you push this little button on the bottom, and that will give a spray that's absorbed through their nasal membrane, and within 2 to 5 minutes from turning blue, not hardly breathing, they'll be sitting up and telling you what they took. It buys 90 minutes of time. If I had known about naloxone, if I had given it to the nannies, my daughter would be alive today, but the first responders that came out didn't have it, and she died on the way to the hospital, or by the time she got to the hospital. There's no reason for that, and I'm trying to tell everybody I can about this wonderful miracle drug that is the antidote to a drug overdose. I have a very close friend in Scottsdale. I'm going to have her call you too. Her name is Marcia Rowley.
Okay.
R-O-W-L-E-Y, Marcia Rowley. She has a big company in Scottsdale. I'm going to see what, maybe she knows something as well. So expect a call from Aaron and expect a call from Marcia. And you call me at any time and let me know how your daughter is doing.
I will, and thank you so much for sharing because no one else does.
All right, the cavalry's on the way. Just be patient. We'll get you help.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. That's, I feel so bad. I mean, my heart bleeds for this mother. I mean,
I don't know if the people who lose a child aren't better off than the ones that the child is going through this.
we didn't even get a chance to,
No. Look at, you see what people are going through. This is repeated 50,000 times around the country. Well, first of all, welcome to Westgate Lakes Resort. And this is our brand new ballroom. This is like 1/5 of what it looks like when all the walls are down. I know this is a joyous occasion for all of you, and I hate to bring up negatives, but I think it needs to be said since my wife already kind of opened the door to it. We lost our daughter 11 months ago actually 11 months ago yesterday. And it's the worst phone call that any family can ever receive. But I decided when that happened that I was going to spend the rest of my life dedicated to saving lives. I guess today was kind of proof that we're reaching people, because we got a call, as Jackie said, from Phoenix about this poor girl who's laying in the hospital from a drug overdose. This is my life. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I've never been more motivated or dedicated about anything than I am about this. I think if I had that much motivation and dedication in my business, I'd be a zillionaire today. So thank you all very much. I'm sorry to put a little damper on the evening, but I see these beautiful, I see these beautiful women up here, and I realize what a tragedy that one day my daughter won't be up here with them. Thank you. Hopefully, there'll come a day when I can say that it was lucky for thousands or millions of people that Victoria died, because their children are going to live a fruitful life. And every time I save a life, it makes the grieving process that much easier, because I know her legacy is going to be that people are living.
Real-life superheroes are fighting against drug addiction in quite a unique way. Look at this video as many people scaled down 28 stories of the Hyatt Regency on International Drive. Even the Orlando Magic mascot Stuff joined in. It's all part of a national movement to fight drug and alcohol addiction. It's also to honor loved ones in recovery and those lost to addiction. Family members rappelled down the building to raise funds and awareness as part of the Shatterproof Challenge Rappelling series.
Since my daughter died and I'm getting out there, I am meeting a lot of people, incredible people. And someone who I was really excited to meet was Gary Mendel. Well, he told me about his Shatterproof charity.
This is an event to reduce stigma and shame associated with addiction and raise funding for our mission for prevention, treatment, and recovery.
Shatterproof is a charity created by Gary Mendel to keep other families from being shattered by the loss of one of their loved ones. When I committed to Gary about doing the Shatterproof Challenge, which is rappelling off of a building, I guess I was out of my mind when I committed to actually participating, because I have a huge fear of heights. So today I'm in Los Angeles, right next to Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and I am doing a whole bunch of stuff, but the main thing that I'm doing today is rappelling off of a building with my beautiful sister, Jessica. I knew it was gonna be something like really scary, and I didn't want to do it alone. So I tricked my sister. I called her and I said, Jessie, let's go to this charity event. It's out in Hollywood.
I had no idea that we were going to jump off a building. She didn't say anything to me, and she didn't say anything to my mom. It was just, oh, we're going to just go to a charity event. And of course, I was really excited to go. I've never been to LA. So I was shocked when I found out I was going to jump off a building, because my biggest fear is heights. I'm so scared of heights. You can die from like this height. Seriously, you wouldn't survive if you even if you jumped on the 5th floor here.
Oh my God, this is only 5 stories.
You'd die.
We're going to be 21 more stories higher up. It's actually one of these buildings right downtown, one of the tallest buildings
like that
in LA. There's downtown LA right there. It's one of those buildings.
Those are pretty
tall. Oh my God.
So
don't get nervous, Jess. We're almost there. And they're getting closer and the buildings are getting taller. I'm actually pretty scared. It wasn't bothering me until about 4 o'clock this morning when I started to have like a bad dream. And fortunately I woke up, so I didn't finish the dream.
Well, you're gonna finish it shortly.
It's gonna be the real life thing.
Yeah.
We're on top of the building now, and we're walking over to where we're going to rappel off. It's pretty scary here. Oh my God, I don't even want to look over the edge.
Before they hooked me up, I made the mistake of walking to the edge of the roof, and I looked down, and it was like looking down at like New York City. It was so high up. I mean, 26 stories.
I don't think I can do this.
What?
I really don't think I can do this. I'm too scared.
All of a sudden, she started crying. And she says, I can't do this. It's like, yes, you can.
I was crying, and like I've never been that scared in my life.
I can't believe we're doing this.
I've never been worse in my life.
I feel frozen. I don't like this. I'm like, I don't know how she's standing there. It's crazy.
We must conquer our fears.
You're no help.
I have no idea I was doing this. I would have never agreed to do this. I never would have agreed to do this.
When they hooked me up, and then, I'm hooked up, and the girl who's helping me down, I'm staring at her, and I've got tears in my eyes, and I'm like, my life is in your hands. I can die right now.
Now what?
So now you're gonna put your left right here.
My whole life is on this string going down the side of a building. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I hated it. I can't take this. I can't take it. I just want to get down. Oh, this is only for Victoria. I would only do this for her. I love you, Victoria. Just get down to the bottom. I can't take it. Oh my God. Gary is definitely an inspiration for me to see his strength along with his pain and what he's doing with the loss of his child, of helping other people. I mean, he's raising millions of dollars. He has dedicated his life. And actually, he was kind of a mentor to my husband. When our daughter died, my husband's like, we didn't know what to do. I mean, and he heard of Shatterproof. We created Victoria's Voice, and they became friends. And I'm actually really glad that I've decided to be a part of this and to be supportive in the community. I'm certainly not happy that I'm a member of this situation, but I'm happy that I could help other people. And I think by meeting other people who are struggling with the same thing, the loss of their children, helps me. Before our daughter died, we had no idea how many people were affected by losing their children to drugs. And now our eyes are wide open and we're aware of the problem, and we feel like it's our responsibility, in part ours. It's a big thing out there, but to help and cure this problem. Okay, we're going up to Washington D.C. We're trying to get naloxone in every police car, and we're going to do a lot of good things. I think there's about 100 other families going that lost a child, and I've got my photo right here of my baby. So my husband and I, we've decided to really make a difference in this world. We decided to not let our daughter die in vain, but to save other people's lives. Hey, look, I made the cover of the newspaper today. They are talking about Versailles and about Victoria's voice. And I'm really glad that they mentioned Victoria's voice, because we're trying to get the word out there. We're trying to save lives, and that's why we're going up to Washington, D.C.
We're in Washington to get support to get a cheap source of naloxone.
I'm getting a lot of exercise. When they say something is across the street, it doesn't mean that it's nearby. I hope this is the building here.
Hi, Jackie.
How are you?
I'm Pete. Good to see you.
Hey,
thanks for taking time. What'd you do wrong to have to get with us today?
Oh, I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Good for you. Hi there.
Hi, Mara Fraser.
Mara, good to see you.
Runs
Pete
my
Sessions.
foundation.
I love those kind of guys.
Who?
The ones that run the foundation. You're the ones that give money to people based upon good ideas that do great things.
Thank you. It's a good job. I'm lucky to have it.
Yeah.
50,000 people died last year, and they could have all been saved if they'd had naloxone.
Or at least the vast majority of them, that's right.
I can bring in something like, this is an Afrin, but I could bring in something just like this, except smaller, because this is like a year's supply and all we need is one dose. But I could bring in something very similar to this for under $1. The cheapest right now is this one, nasal spray.
Yeah.
So very similar to this, and it's $37.50. I mean, the companies that make this are trying to make as much money as they can, as quickly as they can. I'm trying to flood the market with a cheap source of naloxone so that everybody, there won't be a reason for not to carry it.
What is this? This is the hearing before the House Bipartisan Task Force
to combat heroin. So the Heroin Task Force is the shorthand for that, and that's with the House. So families are going to share their story.
Are we getting up there?
Yep. So right now, scheduled for 4:40. We're going to try and move that to 5 o'clock because it's going to be a little tight with this 3:30.
I speak for the families who have lost children. I speak for those that's in my own family that have children still suffering from heroin addiction, opioid addiction, and their families who are out there with no hope, no help, and still waiting for answers.
Me and David are going to be up next to speak about our story, but it's really sad seeing all these people that lost their children.
Mr. Siegel from Florida, David Siegel, father of Victoria, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us. My remarks are going to be a little different from what you heard here. I have my wife, Jackie, Victoria's mother, with us, and I'm happy that this group has been put together. But what I'm unhappy about is there's 14 empty seats up there. How urgent is this to Congress if there's only 3 people here instead of 17 that could be here? What other business does Congress have that's more important than hundreds and thousands of lives being lost every year? Her 129 will be 150 today. That was 2014 numbers. This is growing 10% a year. We will lose 50,000 beautiful children this year to this epidemic. Our future generation, our future Bill Gates, our future Steve Jobs. Music you're never going to hear. Stories you're never going to read. Movies you'll never see.
we're losing a whole generation of people, and it's nice that we all came together, and we're going to show you our pictures of our children, and everybody's going to say they're sorry for us, but there's no action. There is a miracle drug out there called naloxone that less than 1% of the population even knows about. And the drug that's out there, the drug companies that make it are gouging the public. It costs 60 cents worth of naloxone to save a life. 60 cents. The cheapest you can get it in a nasal spray is $37.50, and you have to buy 2 at a time, or $75. The police departments can't afford it. The first responders can't afford it. Every first responder, every policeman, every fireman should have it. Every dormitory should have it. Every medicine cabinet in the country should have it. Every addict should carry it in their pocket. You know, people with heart problems, they carry nitroglycerin. People with diabetes carry insulin. People with food allergies carry EpiPens. But no addict carries naloxone. Most of the deaths that are represented in this room could have been prevented if a naloxone was available. But either because of the price of it or because no one knows about it, I don't see the government doing public service announcements on naloxone. I don't see the drug companies talking about it. I see them talking about every opioid under the sun, and now they're even saying if your opioid makes you constipated, here's another opioid that'll solve that. There's no cry. Nobody's crying out about it. I don't hear any outcry. We gotta get things done, not a week from now or a month from now. We have to get it done now. We got 25 million drug addicts in this country today. We have 25 million former addicts that are in recovery. 50 million people with their parents. That's half of our population. Why isn't there some public outcry? We could stop it by doing random drug testing in the schools. We could stop it by flooding the market with naloxone. We could stop it by education, but we have to do something. The ball's in your court. Let's do something, not just sit here and listen to us and go back to your offices and get on with the next business. Let's do something now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we've got the museum here. I'm happy to show you through and highlight some of the areas that we have.
Okay, that's great.
All right, let's go on in there. Vietnam was a major turning point in drug addiction. What happened was the soldiers had ready access to heroin when they were in Southeast Asia and became addicted to it. And it got so bad that when it was time for them to go home, they were forced to go through a drug test to see if they were addicted. And if they were, they had to remain an extra 30 days to go through drug rehab. And that was a big wake-up call. Oh, drug testing keeps people from taking drugs, because when they heard that they got their papers to leave, they would voluntarily stop using the drugs so that they would pass their drug test, so they wouldn't have to stay 30 days. And that's kind of where random drug testing came into effect in the workplace. One of the things about prescription drugs is because people don't realize they could be so bad for you, they tend to overtake them. And they also mix them with other drugs. There are things called farm parties where the kids come and they grab whatever is in their parents' medicine cabinet, come to a party, put it all in a bowl, and then they'll just take handfuls and then wash it down with alcohol. And the real danger is this, is whenever you mix medications, you don't know what medication will affect the other. But then doubly, when you mix it with alcohol, it has a larger effect Opiates, for example, heroin, morphine, fentanyl, what they do is they lower your respiration. So your breathing slows down. Alcohol also lowers your respiration. So when you combine two different drugs that both lower your respiration, you will stop breathing. So that's a lot of times what happens is they'll be mixing these pills, and that's one of the major effects is they stop breathing.
What happens when you mix methadone with Zoloft?
I'm not positive. I know methadone is an opiate, so that will slow your breathing down. I'm not quite sure what Zoloft does, though.
Yeah, it's an antidepressant.
It depends on how, but you don't know what the little mixtures are, and that's why it's so important. If you are actually taking these drugs legally, you still have to talk with your pharmacist to make sure that they know that whatever you're being prescribed won't work against each other and cause major problems.
That's another thing that we want to do when people are prescribed the opiates is get the naloxone given away with it.
I got you.
As an emergency, just in case someone in the household got a hold of it and took too much, at least you have it on hand.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we're gonna really.
Okay, all right. You take care. Take care. Thanks so much. All right, you got my card. You send me the info.
Okay.
And Bill Alden can find me anytime.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. See you later.
I wish I could have brought my daughter Victoria up here to see this, and maybe she wouldn't have touched a drug. I don't know. You know, it's hard to go back and say what if, but as a parent, I mean, it's already happened. We can only deal with the ones that are still living and try to be an influence on them and deter them from taking their own lives accidentally.
You pick it up at the back.
Oh God, welcome to Phoenix.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So after we got this totally random phone call from this mother, her name is Heidi from Arizona, I decided to go to Arizona to meet Dakota in person. I've been helping her with her recovery. We gave Dakota a place to stay at our resort in Arizona just to give her space, to take her out of the element of, you know, maybe to not be around where she could get drugs or something, you know. And she didn't have a job, so we found her a job, and we're trying to help her get her life all straightened out. And so far, she's been drug-free. This is something that's really important to me, coming out to Arizona, to meet this girl that I really feel like we've taken under our wing. And I want to help inspire her to not do what my daughter did. And I just wanted to give her like a little bit more stronger emotional support, and I thought the best way to do that was by being there in person and show her that I really cared and taking the time out of my schedule. And I wanted to get to know her a little bit better. It's almost like I feel like Victoria wants me to do this or something, you know? This has almost given me like a chance. She's still alive. My daughter isn't. And where there's life, there's hope. And that's something to always remember. I'm hoping that when I tell my story, that it can have enough of an impact for a drug-free life is what my goal is. Oh my God.
Hey.
Look at you. You look gorgeous.
You look gorgeous.
Holy cow.
Hey.
And this is your baby.
Yeah, this is little Arrow. Oh, he's shy.
Hi.
Hey, look how pretty you are.
You look at you. You're gorgeous.
Oh God, now I'm not.
Now I know where Dakota gets her looks from.
And you're so talented. How are you?
I have heels on.
Your wonderful husband sent me a bed because I was sleeping on an air mattress in here. So he had the Westgate Hotels send me, and that's why we kind of laughed. This is from David.
You are so sweet. It's kind of hard for me to explain why I wanted to come here and just help one particular family. I think when they called us, me and my husband, it was like the right place at the right time. We were going through just so much with the loss of Victoria, and we kind of jumped on it like, we just want to save this girl. So this is the one, these two people are the reason. that you want to take care of yourself and be strong. Can you imagine their lives if something ever happened to you? I brought like some small gifts, like t-shirts with my daughter Victoria's picture on it and things like that, just as a reminder to them. Hopefully your mother will never have to like live her life with just only pictures.
Almost exactly like you. Beautiful.
18 years old. Wish she would have been 20 now. And this is from her birthday party.
I love it. What a moment.
But this is how we celebrate my daughter's, like how we celebrate her life now, just in pictures.
Now, what was her middle name? Or what you
Elizabeth.
Okay, so Ricky was a nickname?
Yeah, she gave herself, her and her friends gave she hated the name Victoria, but I guess like Vicky, she didn't like that, so then somehow it ended up Ricky. Somehow, in some way, I lost my daughter, but I feel like I gained a daughter. Maybe an adopted daughter, like, I mean, she's not adopted, but like I kind of feel like I took her under my wing, if that makes any sense. And I think it might be helping me with my healing. Okay, we have to get going. They need to put the baby to bed, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to Dakota before we have to leave?
Just tell her if you're proud of her, I'm proud of her.
There's a story that I heard years ago. A old man was walking down to the beach after a storm, and thousands of seahorses had been washed up on the shore. And a little boy was down there picking them up and throwing them back in. And the old man walked up to the little boy and he said, "Son, you can't possibly make a difference." And the little boy picked up one and threw it in, and he said, "I made a difference for that one, didn't I?" And basically what it means is that this is such a great epidemic that there's 25 million people who are addicted, 50,000 people dying. To save one life or a couple lives, some people would say, well, you're not hardly making a difference, but when I can save a life, I made a difference to that one.
Everyone has their own stories, and I'm working my hardest to make sure this story has a happy ending. I feel it will. I really, thank God they found us. So let's keep our fingers crossed. It's been 19 months since Victoria passed away, and in that 19 months, a lot has happened to our family, and especially a lot has happened to me. I've been going through a total healing process, a growing process. I feel like I'm a much stronger person. I have goals and ambitions, and just all the things that we set out to do, we've gotten accomplished. So a really huge accomplishment that we got this past year was passing the CARA Act, and we're so excited about that. In fact, my husband, he wrote a letter to Donald Trump to tell Donald that we were able to get this law passed, and it was wonderful because we can see that he actually read it, and he signed it and said, great job, and he mailed it back to us. And it's because of Victoria that we're able to do all these positive things in this world. Her legacy is going to be so amazing. It already is. We've already saved lives. And I think she would be very proud. I'm moving forward. I'm moving on. But that doesn't mean that I'm ever going to forget about Victoria. She's my inspiration her every day that I wake up. You know, she's my inspiration for doing something very positive. Obviously, I can't pick up a phone and call her. And so what I thought is like maybe by writing her a letter that I can write down my thoughts and what would I say to her, like if she was here today. Dear Victoria, you are my precious, precious baby. I wouldn't have ever thought that you'd be taken out of my life so abruptly. I didn't even get a warning. I don't know if I was the best mom in the world. I don't know if anyone is perfect. But if I wasn't, then this is certainly a horrible punishment. I did what you wanted and I gave your boyfriend a chance. I just didn't know you were going to die. I thought I would have the rest of my life with you. But now I know I don't. I think you'd be happy to know how hard Daddy and I are working to save lives. We have already saved lives, and the number is growing, and it's going to keep growing. We are going to conquer the overdose problem. I hope you'd be proud of what I'm doing. I think you are. I'm trying the best I can to go on with my life and move forward. But there isn't a moment of the day that I'm not thinking about you, missing you. I just want you to know that you did not die in vain. I feel like you are my guiding light and a voice in my heart. Even though we only had a short time together on this earth, I will always be grateful that I had that time that we shared. I love you and I miss you, and I hope that you will always be with me. Love, Mom.